Episode 81. They are saved. Logan saved Violet and the children and sent them to the hospital. Meanwhile, Logan's grandmother was very angry at him for risking his life for them. She also expressed her concern about Violet, deciding that they should hire someone else in her place. Violet and the children were saved. Violet had been praying for a miracle, and she had gotten it. Logan saved them from the brutal kidnappers who could have possibly killed them. Violet woke up and anxiously asked about the whereabouts of her children, but her throat was unexpectedly hoarse, and she could not even speak. The caregiver knew what she wanted to ask and told her that Adam and Amy had already been taken care of properly, and that they were doing all right. "You just need to rest so that you can recover well." Director Logan personally took care of these matters. The whole world is talking about it. The caregiver informed Violet about all that had happened. The caregiver wanted Violet to remember Logan's good deeds. After all, he took care of Violet like no one else. Previously, she thought Elizabeth was his girlfriend, but now she realized that he did not like her at all. Violet had caused trouble for Logan time and time again, but Logan had never blamed her. Not only did Logan not blame her, he even personally went to save her when she was in danger. This was something that even the best socialites in Los Angeles did not get. He really seemed to be nice to her, and it was evident that he cared for her like no one else. Even the caregivers could not help but envy Violet, not to mention those who heard the news. Everyone was jealous of Violet now. The caregiver then told Violet that Elizabeth had come to see her, and Logan too. However, Logan had not been there at the time. Did Elizabeth really come to visit her? Violet thought as she smiled coldly. Elizabeth probably came to see if she was dead or raped by those kidnappers. It seemed that the people of the Kingston family were unable to restrain themselves after knowing that it was Logan who saved them. Miranda was very disturbed by how things were going. She would not let the relationship between her daughter and Logan be destroyed bit by bit. How could she let this scandal between Violet and Logan spread again? This was the last thing that she wanted. If this continued, Elizabeth's position would be in danger. Logan saved Adam and Amy time and time again. This time, he even brought Violet back from the vicious kidnappers' hands. Miranda no longer believed that the relationship between the two of them was normal. There was something special about it, which was why he kept helping her out like that. "Violet is a little slut. She will hook up with any man. You must let Logan see her real face. Don't let him be deceived by her." Miranda ranted about Violet in front of Charles, but Charles was indifferent. It was as if the person Miranda was talking about had nothing to do with him. Elizabeth also wanted to spend time and energy on Logan so that he could not leave her, but he did not give her the chance at all. He just didn't ever want to be around her. It was as if he was not interested one bit. After Chloe found out that Violet was not dead, she found someone to spread rumors online in an attempt to discredit Violet, saying that after she was kidnapped, she was raped by the kidnappers. Her actions made Miranda feel that Chloe was still reliable and that Elizabeth was useless. She could never do anything in these situations, and only ever watch the chaos unfold. Chloe, on the other hand, found people to discredit Violet. With everything that was going on, Miranda told Elizabeth to pause work on her film. "Don't film anymore. The most important thing is to watch Logan," Miranda explained. She really wanted Elizabeth to take the front seat in the situation and start doing something about it. But Elizabeth was in a miserable state. Miranda did not know about the relationship between her and Logan at all. No matter what she said or did, it did not matter to Logan. He did not treat her as a girlfriend. She was someone who he didn't care about at all. She had come to the hospital several times to find Logan, wanting to talk about the engagement with him, but she could not see him at all. The caregivers hadn't been of any help either. Some of them did not even let her see Violet. It was as if they were deliberately making her stay away from all of this. It was as if she was the one who had harmed Violet. This was really preposterous. However, despite her fears, Logan did not stay by Violet's side, which made her heave a sigh of relief. This meant that the relationship between the two of them had not reached that stage yet. Perhaps Logan helped Violet out of sympathy, and not because he had taken a fancy to her. She was trying to come up with reasons to calm herself down, but it wasn't really working. She walked aimlessly along the corridor of the hospital. Her assistant followed behind her listlessly. In the past, with Logan's protection, almost everyone in the entertainment industry would fawn over Elizabeth. But ever since Violet had appeared, her status seemed to have diminished. No one really looked at her the way they did earlier. A lot of mean comments started popping up on the internet. Some netizens said that Elizabeth and Logan were just each other's sex partners. The person director Logan truly loved was Violet, and there were even some people who actually said Elizabeth was a mistress. The netizens made up stories after stories, and this really hurt Elizabeth. Some netizens said that Violet and Logan were lovers in the past, and there was a misunderstanding between the two of them. Elizabeth took the opportunity to seduce him. Now that Violet had returned, Elizabeth's status naturally fell drastically. Even Elizabeth's assistant wasn't being treated well by the others in the industry, which was something unusual. A few days ago, when they were on set, there was someone who started arguing with the assistant for no reason. At that time, that person's assistant said, "Your status is no longer the same as before. Who do you think you are?" If it wasn't for Elizabeth and Logan still being in touch with each other, she would have resigned. She was still hopeful that Elizabeth would be able to get Logan's love under her teachings and wash away her former shame. A man came to meet them. Although Elizabeth was wearing a mask and sunglasses, there was an assistant following behind her. Obviously, she was not an ordinary person. After all, if an ordinary person went out, no one would follow them. Hence, it was very easy for that person to recognize her. Garrett greeted her with a smile. "Are you Elizabeth?" Elizabeth looked up and found that the person talking to her was Garrett. "Director Garrett, why are you here?" Elizabeth was puzzled. "Could it be that you are also here to see Violet?" How many men did Violet hook up with? Garrett previously liked her very much, so why did he start caring about Violet like that all of a sudden? What was happening? She was a little jealous and could not help but act sexy. She laughed coquettishly in front of Garrett and did not believe that she could not compare to Violet. "Of course I came to see her. We are working with the Smith Group. It is only natural for me to care about her. You seem to be in a bad mood. Are you worried about your sister's injuries?" he asked. "She isn't hurt that badly. They are only surface-level wounds. However, Logan really risked his life to save her. My mother asked me to come over and speak to her. If she really can't take care of the children, then she should hand them over to the Kingston family. We have a lot of maids there who can take care of the children. All of this it's too hard on the children." It seemed like Elizabeth was trying to show concern for the kids this time. "That makes sense. After all, Violet is from a wealthy family. She doesn't know how to take care of children. Otherwise, she wouldn't have encountered danger multiple times." Garrett nodded, agreeing with what Elizabeth said. With so many people by her side, I almost forgot who Logan's real girlfriend is. The assistant behind Elizabeth could not help but roll her eyes and say unhappily, Episode 82, How to Get Her Out of the Way. Miranda was very angry at how Violet was ruining Logan and Elizabeth's relationship. Elizabeth was also upset and didn't know what to do. The netizens began talking about what was brewing between Logan and Violet. Meanwhile, Garrett bumped into Elizabeth and they talked about Violet. "What are you talking about? That's my elder cousin. Logan isn't the kind of person you think he is. Don't speak such nonsense." Elizabeth quickly berated her assistants. "I don't have any such issues with my cousin. Trust me on that." She turned to Garrett. "I admire your honesty. As for my elder brother, he doesn't know how to be gentle to women. He has always been like that." Garrett frowned awkwardly. "He doesn't know how to treat people right at all." Garrett asked his assistant behind him to give his business card to Elizabeth. "This is my business card. If Elizabeth has any problem, she can come to me to get help from me. I will think of it as helping my brother take care of you." "This is not good," Elizabeth replied. Logan had a bad temper, and his relationship with Garrett was not very good either. If he knew that she had Garrett's business card, he would definitely hate her. This was the last thing she wanted at a time when things were already going so wrong. "It's fine. Having one more friend is better than having one more enemy. I will make sure she accepts your business card," Elizabeth's assistant said. She wanted to make sure that everyone knew that there were many people who really liked Elizabeth. Since Logan did not know how to cherish Elizabeth, her assistant would let others take care of her. Garrett was also very good. Besides Logan, he was the only eligible bachelor in Los Angeles. People often argued about which brother was more influential. "Of course you can." Garrett looked at Elizabeth meaningfully. Elizabeth sensed something and also looked up. Only then did she realize that there were 2 dimples on the man's cheeks. When he smiled, the dimples sank slightly. Elizabeth's face turned red and she lowered her head. "Then I will go up first. I will surely contact you if needed." She added, "Okay." If Garrett could help her, perhaps the situation would turn out for the better. Maybe things would become much better than they had imagined. In Los Angeles, the Laurie group came second to the Smith group. Both of them were very powerful, and this was very evident. In the past few years, Garrett had taken the Laurie group to new heights of success. He had worked really hard, and this could be seen in how powerful the group had gotten in such a short period of time. Of course, some secrets couldn't be told to others. Logan's grandmother couldn't suppress the Laurie group either, which gave Garrett a chance to grow rapidly. The Laurie group even had a chance to compete with the Alexander family. The small interlude with Garrett did not make Elizabeth's mood better. On the contrary, she did not see Logan for a few days. Her heart was full of anxiety, and she had reached a critical point. If she did not vent her anger properly, she would go crazy. At this time, the assistant urged her to go see Philly. She was, anyway, not in the mood to work, so she might as well go and talk to Philly. If she dragged on like this, it would really be like what was said on the internet. She would be forgotten by Logan. Then let's ask Philly out. Do you know what she likes? When Elizabeth asked this, the assistant mysteriously came forward and began to whisper to Elizabeth. Miranda was in a meeting at the company, and she had called Elizabeth to ask if Elizabeth had seen Logan. Elizabeth lied. She said that Logan was very busy, and his grandmother was also there. She did not dare to stay any longer. She was afraid that his grandmother would get angry. Only then did she avoid being scolded. However, Miranda still nagged at her. She said that Elizabeth was useless. She really wanted Elizabeth to go the extra mile, but she never did. Elizabeth quickly changed the topic. She said that she was going to meet Philly. Miranda knew about this matter. Miranda asked if she wanted to send some money over. Her money was all controlled by her mother and Chloe. She did not have any concept of money. She had always spent money like dirt. It was always her sister and her mother who managed all of her wealth. This time that she would meet Philly, it would definitely be different from the usual social gatherings. She asked Miranda to send some money so that she could entertain Philly well. Everyone knew how powerful Philly was in her own ways and how she could get things done. She had no other choice now and could only place her hopes on Philly. Miranda naturally urged her to hurry up and go. It was all right to spend some money. The important thing was to have a way to help Elizabeth grasp Logan's heart as soon as possible. If they could get married, then they wouldn't have to worry about other things. This was the first thing on the agenda now. But the real question was, how would it happen? "Mommy, did you do this?" Elizabeth asked. In her heart, she already knew the truth. Except for Miranda and Chloe, Violet had not offended anyone else in Los Angeles. She knew that Miranda and Chloe must have had something to do with this, since they really wanted Violet to get out of the way as soon as possible. "You don't have to worry about these things. We don't know who did it either. Violet must have made someone really unhappy. After all, Los Angeles is full of powerful people. If someone wanted to teach her a lesson, they could easily do it," Miranda replied, trying to clarify her position. "I guess you're right, but where is Chloe? I wanted her to accompany me out today, but I couldn't find her," Elizabeth asked. "I had something to do. You can go meet Philly now. If you need my help, contact me at any time. When you come back, we will plan out what to do," Chloe said as she entered. She was good at socializing and she could speak. If she did not wholeheartedly like Lionel, she would have replaced Violet back then. However, Miranda was still very nervous about her younger daughter. The responsibility of returning the Kingston family to its former wealth and glory was on her. If she lost Logan, it would cause too much damage, and they would not be able to afford it. Of course, while they were trying their best to please the Alexander family, they also wanted to build a good relationship with Garrett's family. Miranda smiled complacently. The people of the Kingston family also wanted Elizabeth to manage things well. If she didn't, then doom would fall on the entire family. She had thought that her plan to get rid of Violet and her kids would resolve everything, but that had not been the case. When she thought of this, her face darkened once again. Those two children were quite powerful. They had made Logan care about them so much. Logan actually went to save them and Violet himself. They had such a profound impact on him. Violet had gone out of the country once and had come back learning the art of seducing men like that. After she had returned to the country, she had not only hooked up with Logan, but also caused so many problems between Chloe and Lionel. She was indeed a scourge. This time, she had not killed Violet. Next time, Violet would not be so lucky. Miranda was so angry at her that she wanted to take her life herself, since she ruined so many things for the Kingston family. She did not believe that Logan could still guard her every day. She hoped that Violet would be fired from the Smith group. That way, all her problems could be solved easily. Miranda was convinced that Logan's grandmother would not allow a woman with such a bad reputation to stay with him. Whether it was the scandal or the truth, Violet and Logan's reputation was not clean. Meanwhile, Garrett went to the hospital to visit Violet again. He was just putting on an act. Haley was away on a business trip. When she found out about Violet's matter, she asked Garrett to go see if there was anything he could help with. So, Garrett had gone to see her, but he also wanted to see if Logan and Violet were really together. Haley had a really strong urge to speak to Violet and find out what had really happened so that they could sort things out. However, someone was guarding Violet's room door, not letting him in. He had to go and see Adam and Amy first. Episode 83. Garrett's Visit to the Hospital. Garrett and Elizabeth had a conversation where he tried to show her the reality and also made her feel bad about how Logan was so concerned about Violet but not her. On the other hand, Elizabeth's assistant arranged a meeting with Philly so that she could help Elizabeth with the rumors surfacing on the internet. Both children, more or less, had some superficial wounds. Amy had one on her face. The doctor treated her wound and said that she would be all right soon. The doctor gave Adam an injection, saying that he would recover soon too. When Amy woke up, it was already noon the next day. Adam was very frightened, so the doctor gave him some medicine to calm him down. He let him sleep for a while longer and didn't wake him. The fact that he had woken up was good news. It meant that there was nothing physically wrong with him. It was only the mental stress that he had gone through, which was getting to him. Violet needed to talk to the children and comfort them. She was considering whether she should hire a psychologist to help them deal with the trauma. Amy lay on her bed and looked at her brother opposite her. Her eyes were unblinking as if she was afraid that Adam would disappear. However, because Logan was by her side, this quiet atmosphere was inexplicably filled with a sense of security. It made Amy relax and temporarily forget the fear of being kidnapped. Logan sat on the sofa and did his work, with Corey assisting him. Time seemed to have stopped. Logan and Amy were in their own worlds, but they could feel each other's company. It was a kind of warm feeling that gave both of them comfort. Garrett peeked inside through the door glass of the ward for a while, touched his nose, and walked in. "You have become a hero again this time," he told Logan. Garrett suddenly realized that Logan and the twins looked alike, especially their eyes and noses. "Why are you here?" Logan did not welcome Garrett. "Why? Is there something wrong with me being here? Won't you welcome me?" Garrett said flippantly and did not get angry. Logan's words did not affect him at all. Garrett thought how wonderful it would have been if the kidnappers had hurt Logan. He would have just loved to see Logan suffer, but Logan seemed like he was doing just all right. Garrett looked at him and hated Logan even more. In fact, Garrett had come on a mission, mainly because his mother was overseas. She was still worried about her eldest son. People always wanted everything they couldn't get, his mother even more so. She knew that Logan did not like her at all, but she still cared about him. Logan's mother probably saw the news and knew about Logan saving people. She immediately, anxiously asked Garrett to go and see if Logan was okay. Was he hurt? "You have been saving these children over and over. It seems that Violet is not ordinary in your heart. She surely has a special place," Garrett remarked. In the past, Logan had never cared so much about anyone. That was why Isabella urged Garrett to investigate the situation. Isabella had actually secretly introduced a beautiful girl to Logan and also collaborated with Logan's grandmother to propose a blind date for Logan, but he had seen through her efforts. Hence, Logan had only grown more and more annoyed with Isabella. It would be best if Isabella and Logan turned against each other and became enemies. Garrett would be very happy. Although Garrett and Isabella had different objectives, Garrett really wanted to investigate the relationship between Logan and Violet, so he came to the hospital. Anyway, Garrett had nothing to do. He might gain something from this trip. "What does it have to do with you?" Logan said coldly. "I don't want to annoy anyone. The truth is that my mother is thinking about her beloved son. I can only help her, right?" He added, "What does this have to do with me?" Logan did not appreciate it. "Just tell her to take care of herself. She has other things to worry about as well," Logan said with a very angry expression on his face. "She has been concerned about me for so many years. Now that she thinks about it, she might feel pity for you. She feels guilty, so she will try her best to make it up to you," Logan remarked sarcastically. Isabella indeed did not only have one son, but as she had grown older, she had become more and more concerned about Logan. This made Garrett and Logan's grandmother very unhappy. Luckily, Isabella had a foreign boyfriend and spent half of the year abroad. Otherwise, if she had stayed home, she would probably have quarreled with Logan's grandmother a lot. They had never gotten along well from the very beginning. "Garrett, if you have nothing else to say, you can leave. I don't want to fight with you in front of the children," Logan added. Although Amy was worried about Adam and she did not really care what they said, Logan still did not want to scare her. He was just concerned about her and wanted them to recover very soon. "Amy, don't be afraid. I am just joking with this person." Garrett turned around and walked to Amy's side. He gently rubbed the wound on her cheek. "What are you doing? Are your hands dirty?" Logan raised his voice. "Why are you so nervous? My hand is clean. Just now, when I came in, the caregiver asked me to sanitize my hands. Why are you shouting? Aren't you afraid of scaring Amy?" Garrett said. He had a very evil expression on his face, enough to show that he didn't care about anyone at all. "How on earth could I scare the children?" Logan thought to himself. Garrett's fake smile was the one that could scare the children. "I won't argue with you. I'll talk to Amy." "Did you apply the medicine on your wound?" He asked Amy. "Amy, do you feel pain?" "You will be all right very soon. Don't be afraid anymore," Garrett comforted. Amy did not make a sound. She looked at Logan because when Logan rescued them, he had held her and Adam in his arms. He had said that he would not let anyone hurt them. Compared to Uncle Garrett, Amy felt that Uncle Logan was more reliable. He just seemed so much nicer than Uncle Garrett. With Logan, the kids just felt much safer. They felt that no one could harm them when they were with Logan. Although Uncle Garrett could help them earn money by bringing them to shoot advertisements, Amy still felt that Logan was closer to her than Noah. To her, he just felt like home for some reason. "Didn't you see that Amy didn't want to talk to you? Go back to work now. If you want to succeed, you really have to work very hard." Logan spoke instead. He was very satisfied with Amy's attitude. He felt that she really knew how to act in front of people. "Uncle Logan, are you guys arguing?" Amy did not like quarreling. She looked at Logan and Garrett. "Please don't fight." "Uncle Garrett and I are not quarreling. We were just joking." Logan quickly explained. He didn't want her to know what was really happening. Garrett did not expect Logan to be so good at making things up. He choked on the water and coughed very hard. Logan did not want to see Garrett cough to death in the ward, so he took a bottle of water and gave it to him. Garrett quickly drank a mouthful and suppressed the cough. He gave Logan a thumbs up and praised him. Garrett and Logan were clearly quarreling, but Logan actually said they were joking. Could the two of them be joking? This got Amy thinking about what was really happening. She couldn't help but worry.
Uncle Garrett, the doctor said that Adam and I need to rest for a few days. Will this affect our shoots?
Amy remembered something very important. She really wanted to make some money, and so she asked Garrett about it. Of course not. We will do the shoots next week. When the time comes, I will dress you up like a little princess, okay? Garrett responded. Amy was just too cute not to be comforted. She could make anyone's heart melt like that.
Thank you, Uncle.
Amy was a little unenergetic. She had not recovered from the shock, but she was still very polite. It could be seen that Violet had raised the children very well. They were so polite and very well-mannered, too. Adam and Amy were quite frightened. I think it would be better for them to rest for a while, Logan requested. Logan was very concerned about the children, and this was evident in the way that he was caring for the two. Episode 84, The Mother's Story. Garrett visits the hospital since he was instructed by his mother to do so. Logan isn't very happy to see him there, and they quarrel a little. Amy is worried that they would wake Adam up by quarreling like that. Then push it for another week. That should be enough, right? You're not their father, so why are you so much more worried about them than their own mother? Garrett asked. Are you kidding me? Logan rolled his eyes at him. I just happened to be moving them this week. Moving? Garrett's heart skipped a beat. A few days ago, he wanted to use Noah's connections to let Violet live in his house. He wanted to use this to anger Logan. Could it be that Logan also knew about his plans? He walked to the sofa in front of Logan and sat down. He tilted his head and asked, Where are you guys moving to? He smiled at Amy and rubbed her head. That has nothing to do with you, Logan replied. Amy lay down and tried not to look at her brother anymore. Logan told her that Adam would only wake up at night and needed all of that rest to recover.
I know.
Amy was quite obedient, but she still turned her body sideways and looked at Adam eagerly. Logan knew that she was worried about Adam, so he let her lie down like this. Logan lowered his voice and warned Garrett not to waste any more time on Violet. Garrett thought about other things and did not take Logan's words seriously. He saw that Adam would not wake up for a while, so he prepared to go and see Violet. He wanted Logan to tell the bodyguard to let him in. Rejected. Logan would not let him go to see Violet. Who knew what this person would say? In any case, Garrett had always been happy to anger him. He saved Violet and the children this time and did not want to take credit for it. He also did not want to take the opportunity to coerce her into agreeing to that matter. She needed to figure everything out herself. Only if she was willing could she do it. Logan really did not care about a woman who had no interest in him at all. He was the one so many others desired, so why would he care for someone who didn't care for him? If he wanted to find a woman, He could just get anyone he wanted. It can't be true, right? Nothing has happened between you and Violet, right? Garrett asked, as if he was very concerned about both of them. Logan was very angry at the kind of questions that Garrett was asking. You should know my temper before you ask me such things, he warned. Logan would never even involve Garrett in work matters, let alone personal ones. Of course I know. All the more reason for me to go and meet Violet myself. Garrett calmly put his hands in his pockets and looked at Logan a few times. He walked outside with a smile on his face. I would like to join in the fun. It's boring for me to be busy with business all day long. It's more interesting to chat with you, Logan, he slyly added with an unreadable look on his face. It seemed like Logan really treated Violet differently. If he could seize the initiative to win Violet's heart, what kind of feelings would Logan have? Garrett thought as he walked. The men of the Alexander family were all obsessed with love. Carlos had been neglected by his wife and was plotted against by others to have a child with another woman. He had been feeling guilty and atoning for his sins for the rest of his life. Who would have thought that once he died, his wife would marry someone else in the blink of an eye? How ironic. So what if he used his emotions to the utmost? Garrett really wanted to see if Logan would end up with the same fate as his father. Garrett was only a few years younger than Logan. In the past, Carlos did not know whether he loved Isabella or not. In any case, Carlos was handsome and had a good temper, and he was also a descendant of an aristocratic family. If she married him, both families would be happy. However, after they got married, he found out that she still could not let go of her former lover, Hardy. Thus, they kept in contact with each other, and she got pregnant with Hardy's child right under Carlos's nose. Carlos actually helped to hide it. If grandmother hadn't seen through it, later on, giving Garrett back to his mother's family, then Garrett might have grown up in the Alexander family and might have really become Logan's brother. Now that the matter had been exposed, Carlos begged Isabella not to leave. Grandmother could not do anything to her son. At that time, his health was already not too great. Logan was slowly growing up. If they broke up, it wouldn't be good for anyone. She could only swallow her anger and allow Isabella to stay in the Alexander family while Logan needed her. Hardy did not marry anyone else. He waited for Isabella to finally reunite with him. Who knew that in just a few years, he would also meet with an accident on the way to the business trip with the Alexander family and die? Everyone was lamenting that the Alexander family was responsible for his death. Little Garrett held his grandmother's hand and secretly swore in his heart that he would make the Alexander family pay with blood. Yes, his grandmother told him that it must be the Alexander family who was taking revenge on Isabella for bringing shame to the Alexander family. Garrett believed it without a doubt. Even after he grew up and became the most eligible bachelor in Los Angeles besides Logan, this thought was deeply rooted in Garrett's heart. In addition, Logan's attitude towards Isabella had always been cold. He never liked her, which also increased the hatred in Garrett's heart. He felt that this was unfair to his mother and felt that Logan was playing a victim. How disgusting. He didn't respect anyone from the Alexander family. Logan did not feel at ease when Garrett went to see Violet. He also followed, using the perfect excuse to care about his subordinates. Garrett was even more interested now. Along the way to the ward, he was very excited. It seemed that after so many years, he had finally found a way to make Logan suffer. There was nothing more painful than losing the person you loved, and Logan would be powerless to do anything about it. He wanted to see how Logan's grandmother was going to protect her obedient grandson this time. If she attacked his family, he would be able to collect the evidence he needed and follow the clues so that the truth of his father's demise would be revealed. Violet must be a gift from the heavens to him. Garrett was very sure. During this time, he must treat the three of them better. In the ward, Violet had just woken up not long ago. Her whole body was in pain, to the point that even breathing was painful. The doctor did a checkup on her and treated her wound. He gave her an injection too. There was a nurse with her in the ward, taking care of her and attending to her needs. The nurse saw that Violet was struggling as if she wanted to speak, so she made a hand gesture to her, insisting that she rest. Director Logan had already arranged everything, and she'd not need to worry about anything. So it was Logan again. No wonder she felt that the figure was a little familiar when she fainted. She thought it was Noah. After all, when she escaped from the Kingston family on that rainy night, she was knocked down by a car from some wealthy family. If it wasn't for Noah's timely arrival, she might have fainted on the road that night. She could have died on the spot. She could have frozen to death, crushed to death by other cars, or been brought back to the Kingston family to die. Who knew? But the one who saved her this time was actually Logan. Violet had mixed feelings in her heart. Not to mention that Logan accurately predicted that they were in danger without others knowing, and even gathered people to find them in such a short period of time. The fact that he got an intuition about Violet and her children was already very impressive. Moreover, he actually followed his instincts and did something. He rescued her and the two children and sent them to the hospital. How would she ever pay this debt? Episode 85. Take the Note. Violet felt that she would never be able to thank Logan enough for what he'd done. He was cold, ruthless, and grumpy, but he was also their hero. She would never be able to repay him, even if she worked for him for the rest of her life for free. Of course, she did know one way to repay him, and she had already thought about it when she was in that abandoned warehouse. If they escaped alive, she had decided she would use her second chance to make the Kingston family pay, no matter the cost. Although the last thing she wanted to do was to sell her body and dignity, in this situation, it was her best option. Logan was not a perverted, sadistic person. He had even helped her and the children over and over again. She had decided she would agree to the contract to be his lover. Violet was quite surprised when she saw Garrett had entered and was standing in her room. Why had he come to visit her? She decided that it probably had something to do with Haley. Noah called back while you were still sleeping. Logan told her. He had business out of town. He was really anxious when he found out that something had happened to you. I told him that everyone was okay and that everything was under control. Haley is also away on business. Garrett said. Violet forced a smile on her face. Her face was swollen and her throat was so sore she could barely speak. Haley and Noah were worried about them. She wished she could hide the kidnapping from them. She really did not want them to know and be worried. She wanted to stand up and greet Garrett, but Logan motioned for her to lie back down. He told her Dr. Cooper had ordered that she stay in bed. "Violet, just lie down. I'm not a stranger, so you don't need to greet me." Logan became even angrier when he heard that. Why wasn't Garrett a stranger to her? "The best thing is for you to recover quickly. I'm still waiting to take pictures of Adam and Amy." Violet was a little surprised. Her children were injured. He would wait for them? Would this delay his campaign? Garrett said that it wouldn't, that it was difficult for him to find 2 models that everyone agreed to, and that her children were worth waiting for. It didn't matter if he had to wait a few days. Garrett's words increased Violet's favorable impression of him. She was almost touched as she nodded at him. Her tearful eyes were very beautiful, making Garrett somewhat fascinated. Logan, however, looked furious. His view of Violet was being blocked by Garrett. He could not see her expression at all. Garrett knew that she couldn't speak because of her throat, so he was talking by himself. He was too good at chatting, and his words sounded sincere. Violet was charmed by him. Then he had to go and remind Violet that Logan was still in a relationship with Elizabeth. Of course, he didn't come right out and say anything directly, with Logan standing right there. He only said that he had seen Elizabeth downstairs, and that she had even cried. She was so worried about her cousin. Only when he said that did Violet remember that Logan was still there. She shivered and closed her eyes. Garrett thought that she was tired. In fact, she suddenly remembered that Logan did not like her talking with Garrett. Therefore, she tried not to look at Logan. She just wanted to wait for her throat to get better and find time to talk to him. "All right, you've seen her. You can leave now," Logan urged Garrett. He had been talking nonsense the whole time anyway, even bringing up Elizabeth. Garrett went to Violet's bedside to find a pen and paper and wrote down his phone number for her. "When the children are feeling better, call me. I'll come and visit. Then, when the doctor says it's okay, we will do the photo shoot then. If you need help with anything else, you can also come to me." He looked at Violet. She thought it was strange. She did not usually have this much contact with him, so why was he looking at her like that? Violet hesitated and did not dare to take his number. She didn't have the guts. If she took the note, Logan would flip out. "You are Haley's friend, and she is my office buddy. We can be friends too, right?" When Garrett said that, Violet could only reach out to take the note. But the note was intercepted by Logan. He snatched the piece of paper from Garrett. "I'll take that. Garrett, don't come to the hospital again. Violet needs to rest." "Logan, are you going to care about such a small thing?" Garrett couldn't help but laugh. "You should go and take care of your own business. Have you figured out what to do about the singers who are trying to terminate their contract? I didn't expect you to be so concerned about me. You know everything about my business." Garrett looked amused. "I don't care about you or your company, but these things have been on the news, so it's hard for me not to know." Logan's face was full of disdain. He brushed past Garrett and walked to Violet's side. He looked down from above and said rudely, "You have nothing else to do, so close your eyes and rest." Violet was baffled. How had she made him unhappy again? But she quickly closed her eyes. Footsteps sounded beside her ear. It was probably Garrett who had gone out. After a while, the door of the room was pushed open. She thought that it was the nurse. Violet breathed a sigh of relief and opened her eyes. She quickly tried to close them again when she saw it was Logan standing in front of her bed, looking at the note. "You are quite good," he said sarcastically. There was absolutely nothing good about this. Violet could not speak, so she could only use her eyes to ask what he meant. "Even Garrett thinks that you are different from the rest. He actually wants you to call him." Logan looked at Violet with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. Violet shook her head, indicating that she wouldn't be calling Garrett. She knew her boss couldn't stand him. "At least you are being sensible, but don't read too much into his visit. He might have just been asked by Haley to visit you." Logan looked at Violet arrogantly. If it wasn't for the fact that she couldn't speak, Violet would have started to argue with him. He was the one reading too much into Garrett's note. She rolled her eyes to show her annoyance. Logan did not mind. He shook the note in his hand, tore it into little pieces, and threw it into the trash can. He was so childish. "You are my secretary, so I will be the one taking care of you. Garrett has nothing to do with this." Violet blinked her eyes, indicating that whatever Logan said was right. Of course, if it wasn't for Logan, she and the children would probably be dead by now. So, Violet decided to let it go and make him happy. She stretched out her hand from under the blanket, and to get his attention, pulled Logan's sleeve. Episode 86. I've thought it through. When Violet touched Logan's sleeve, he bounced away as if he had been electrocuted. "What are you doing?" He looked at her. "What do you want?" Violet lay on the bed with a pitiful look on her face. "What you need the most right now is to have a good rest. Don't think too much. I won't be able to find the people who kidnapped you without more information from you. If you want me to avenge your kidnapping, you'll have to wait until your body recovers and you are able to speak. And then I'll let you beg me for help." Logan was in CEO mode, and he wasn't willing to forgive her yet. Violet feared that if she didn't make him happy, he wouldn't help her anymore. Violet coughed twice to get his attention and motioned with her head at the pen and paper on the nightstand. "This?" Logan held the pen and paper in his hand, and Violet nodded. Logan gave the pen and paper to her. Did she have something urgent to say? So much she couldn't wait any longer? It better not have anything to do with Garrett, or else he wouldn't be polite. Violet first thanked Logan for saving her life. Logan's face remained cold. He remained unmoved, downplaying what he had done. Violet thought for a long time and finally wrote, "I am willing to move in with you." "Why are you telling me this now?" Logan replied in a cold tone. He gave no indication that her words meant much to him. Violet quickly glared at him. She couldn't tell if he just did not understand what she meant or was deliberately provoking her. She tried again, writing, "I think I can accept your previous suggestion." Violet had thought it through. She had to do something. She needed protection and his help in dealing with the Kingston family. She was afraid for her and her children's futures. It was very difficult for her to survive on her own back in Los Angeles. She couldn't just reject Logan's help and refuse to give it up, could she? The people of the Kingston family would never let this matter rest. Her friends, Noah and Haley, would remain in danger. Regardless of whether Logan could help her or not, as long as he protected her children, it would be worth it. She had something Logan wanted, Perhaps only her body, but then it was all she had to give. Logan hadn't expected an answer from Violet right now, but he didn't hesitate. He nodded to indicate that he understood. Since you agree, I will get someone to arrange it. I'll draft up the contract and we'll sign it when you feel better. From now on, I'll guarantee yours and the children's safety. Violet wrote, "Thank you." You don't need to thank me. We have a deal. Logan took the pen and paper back from Violet's hands, a little awkwardly. Don't write any more. Wait until your throat is better before saying anything else. Logan looked at Violet and smiled. She was so beautiful and innocent. She also took things very seriously and would fight back when they bickered. She made his life very interesting. If they lived together, then when they got off work, there would still be a cute woman by his side and beautiful children running out to welcome them. He would no longer just be staying at home alone. Hurry up and get better. I'll wait for you. He stood in front of Violet's bed and looked at the wound on her neck. He said sincerely, "Don't worry. No one will dare to touch you when you are by my side." Violet became very shy when she heard this. What was he waiting for her to do? Since they were now going to be lovers, then he must be waiting for her to get better so he could have sex with her. Violet could still not believe this thing with Logan was really happening, but at least Adam and Amy would now have someone to protect them. Logan was quite satisfied with Violet's decision. He suppressed his joy and called home to tell his staff to make the arrangements. Then he visited Adam and Amy in their room. He already had a kind of affection for the two children. Now that Violet knew the situation and had made her choice, he naturally would not be stingy with their care. He would treat them well, but he couldn't let all his boundaries be crossed. Amy was such a sweet girl. If she knew that they would live together with him in the future, and that he could help them find their father, she would definitely be very happy. But Adam was very serious. He was much more reserved than his sister. He liked Logan, but he still kept up his walls with him. Logan would consider it his mission to get the boy to open up to him. Noah knew about Violet's kidnapping. Garrett had told him. He was out of town on an urgent legal matter, and it would be a few days before he could return to LA. Because of this, he hadn't been able to go see Violet in the hospital. He knew that even if he was in Los Angeles, any help he could provide her couldn't compare to what Logan was capable of making happen. He still couldn't believe that Logan had actually sensed that Violet and the children were in danger. That kind of intuition was truly terrifying. No wonder Logan was always so successful in the business world. Noah was grateful, though, that Logan had been able to save the children. If something had happened to the three of them, Noah would have regretted it for the rest of his life. He'd been the one to persuade Violet to come back. He had guaranteed that he would help her take back the shares. But she had been back in Los Angeles for so long, and things were still not settled. On the contrary, Violet and the children had encountered one danger after another. Noah sighed over his own incompetence. He thought of Logan's influence and decided to invite him out for lunch and pick his brain. He wanted to see if Logan could help. Although Logan had a special relationship with Elizabeth, it shouldn't prevent him from helping Violet to take back her shares. Furthermore, if Logan were to invest in the Kingston group, he might really be of help. Logan's cooperation would be a powerful weapon in the fight against Miranda. Logan was powerful and well-respected, and many in the business world feared him. Noah hoped he would help. Violet was Logan's secretary. She had been kidnapped along with her two children. Noah did not believe that after risking his life to rescue them, Logan did not feel anything for Violet. Episode 87. Why Don't You? As soon as Haley's plane landed back in Los Angeles, she had taken a car from the airport straight to the hospital. She was so grateful to see that her friend and her children were okay. She was sitting in Violet's room while she slept when her phone rang. It was Noah. She stepped out into the hall to take his call. I am so glad you are there now. Violet will be more at ease, Noah said. Of course. I came straight here from the airport. I was as worried about her as you. I am just keeping her company. Logan has his personal nurse taking care of her. Haley added in a whisper to Noah. Why are you whispering? I don't trust Logan completely with Violet's care. Noah replied. Logan is not taking care of Violet personally. He has his personal nurse taking care of her. Noah decided to drop it. Tell Violet that I will come see her when I return. Tell her not to be afraid. I will definitely investigate what happened. The police weren't even called. How are you going to investigate it? Haley asked. Unless he asked Logan to use his connections, it would be very difficult for Noah to investigate the kidnappers on his own. It might even be dangerous. People already can't stop talking about what happened. If you start asking around, the story will never die down. I don't think Violet could tolerate that. And Logan would definitely care. Oh, I bet you haven't heard yet. Haley continued. Now, the Kingstons have announced to the public that they will be investigating what happened, and they even said that they want Violet, Adam, and Amy to come home so they can protect them. Wow, Miranda is really amazing and ruthless. Noah marveled at Haley's news. Those who knew even a little about the strained relationship between Violet and the Kingstons would guess that it was Miranda who had orchestrated the kidnapping. By announcing to the world their intention to investigate, the Kingstons were trying to draw the suspicion away from themselves. Miranda was truly shameless, Noah thought. Of course, she also depended on the relationship between Logan and Elizabeth for survival. She must be livid. It was Logan that rescued them. I know. What should we do now? Haley was at a loss. Don't do anything. Wait until I come back. It would be best if they could find the kidnappers themselves. If they had evidence implicating Miranda, then they could go to the authorities. Noah would visit some of Kenneth Kingston's old subordinates. With their support, they would have more help. How about I talk to Garrett? He might be able to help, Haley suggested. The Lori group was also very powerful. Garrett was almost as rich and powerful as Logan. Haley was Garrett's trusted associate. If she asked him, maybe he would help. Noah told Haley to do as she pleased. As long as Logan did not find out about it, it would be fine. Logan would never agree to any help from Garrett. Haley smiled and hung up the phone. She returned to Violet, who was awake now, and helped her to turn on the TV. On the screen, handsome men and beautiful women were all laughing. Violet saw this and couldn't help but think of Logan's cold face. Logan had left instructions with his nurse that if Violet rested properly all morning, he would let her change rooms in the afternoon so she could share a room with Adam and Amy. Violet had been watching the hours slowly tick by. When she saw that it was almost time, she urged Haley to find the nurse. When Adam woke up, he looked at Amy, who was crying by his side. He didn't know how to comfort her. Adam seemed to have been badly hurt. He would probably need to rest in the hospital for additional time before he could be discharged. Logan had made his doctor do a comprehensive examination of Adam. After being assured that Adam did not have any additional injuries, Logan was relieved. Suddenly, Violet walked in through the door, surprising all of them.
"Mommy, are you coming to stay with us?"
Amy asked, unable to contain her excitement. It turned out that Violet hadn't waited for the nurse and had insisted on going right then. Haley was worried and had followed behind, nagging that she would tell the doctor about this later. But Violet had needed to see her children. She hadn't seen them with her own eyes since they had been rescued, and she knew she wouldn't truly be able to rest until she did. Now, seeing that Adam and Amy were safe and sound, with Logan also there keeping them company, she felt a huge sense of relief. She felt protected and safe, feelings Violet wasn't used to feeling.
"Adam, do you feel pain?"
Violet's throat had not yet healed. Her voice was a hoarse whisper as she held Adam in her arms and kissed his head.
"I've been giving all the best food to Adam, Mommy. I'm sacrificing all the cookies."
Amy's serious look made them all laugh. Adam looked up at Logan. He knew that he had saved them and had been their hero. If you counted the time Logan had saved Amy in the airport lobby, he had already saved them thrice. Uncle Logan was like their guardian angel, right? Although they didn't have their father's protection, thanks to Uncle Logan, Adam and Amy felt safe. Thank you, Logan. Noah and I are very grateful. I'm so glad you were there. Otherwise, we really don't know how things would have turned out. Haley could not even imagine it. Logan's heart softened a bit, looking at Adam. He decided to tell them they would be coming to live with him, although he left out the part about his agreement with their mother. He only said that they would stay in his home after they were discharged from the hospital, and that they would see each other every day in the future. Your mommy can help me with my work, and she can also help take care of my house when I'm not home. Her salary will also increase. Are you happy? Adam and Amy were very happy. They could see Uncle Logan all the time. How good was that? After watching Logan interact with her kids for a while, Violet couldn't help but notice that Logan seemed to look even more handsome than normal. She felt an unfamiliar feeling as she watched him with them. Later, when Violet and Haley returned to her room to pick up the rest of her belongings, Logan took the opportunity to ask the children, "Didn't you ask me to help you find your dad? Now you have more time to tell me about him."
"Uncle Logan, we really don't know anything about him. Where is he? Can you help us find him?"
Amy blinked with her large eyes and her long eyelashes. Your mommy doesn't know either, Logan asked. Adam and Amy shook their heads in confusion. Logan didn't know if they were saying that Violet did not know, or if they didn't know if Violet knew. Could Violet not even know who the father was? He felt a chill on the back of his neck. Had the children been the result of a rape? Logan wanted to ask them more, but the door of the room was pushed open. Violet and Haley had returned. Episode 88. Moving Announcements.
Mommy, are we really going to live with Uncle Logan?
When Violet and Haley had gone back to her room to get Violet's things, Violet had told Haley the details of her arrangement with Logan. Haley didn't know how she felt about the idea of them living together, but she didn't know if she should try to stop it or not. When Violet had taken the job with Logan, Haley had actually wondered if Logan would find Violet attractive, which would cause problems between him and Elizabeth. If they actually broke up over Violet, this would not only anger Miranda, but it would also give Violet a powerful ally in her battle with the Kingstons. However, Now that it had happened, and Logan did indeed want Violet, Haley was a little worried. Haley knew that in most people's eyes, it appeared that Violet and Logan were already dating, so maybe it really didn't matter.
"What's wrong with living with him?"
Violet replied to Amy.
"Don't you both like Uncle Logan? It will also be convenient for my work, and I can help take care of some other things in Uncle Logan's life." "But Mommy, can we really live with Uncle Logan? He is not our relative."
Adam questioned. Although they worked together, they were indeed not a family. How was Violet going to explain this to her children? "You could acknowledge Logan as your godfather," Haley suggested. They already had Noah as their godfather, so they might not mind having another one. "No way," Logan retorted. He did not know how to feel about the turn this conversation had taken, but he knew he did not want to be lumped into the same category as Noah.
"Do you not like us, Uncle Logan?"
Amy was a little disappointed. She pouted and looked at Logan. "You already have a godfather and a godmother. You can't have two godfathers." Logan reasoned with her. Amy thought about it and agreed. Her mommy had said that Noah and Haley were her godparents, so they already had a godmother and a godfather. She nodded in agreement. Logan wouldn't compromise on this. Being a godfather was out. Naturally, they would still call Logan their uncle, Violet thought to herself. She decided that the children would just have to get used to the idea. Besides, her agreement with Logan was only temporary. When he would get married, their relationship would come to an end. What she needed to do during this period of time was to make as much money as possible, build connections, and work with Noah to snatch back her shares from Miranda's hands. After that, even if she ended her relationship with Logan and never saw him again, she would still be able to lead a good life with her children. That's what she would do. Although she was uneasy, Haley did not try to stop Violet from moving in with Logan. Violet had to take this opportunity to improve her life. Logan and Elizabeth weren't married, and he'd shown that he was interested in Violet as well. He even offered to help her take care of the children in exchange for her agreeing to live with him. Based on that alone, Haley felt that Elizabeth and Logan were over, and he was moving on to Violet. All the feelings started from desire. Adam and Amy's father was not someone Violet wanted in her life. Violet should not have to be single for the rest of her life. If Logan liked her, Violet should just go for it and see what happens. The Kingston family would be so angry when they heard about this, especially Miranda, Haley thought. Even though it was not time for retribution yet, Miranda's retribution was coming. The doctor and the nurse wanted to speak with Logan, so he excused himself and followed them out into the hall. After he left, Violet quietly asked Haley not to tell Noah about them living together yet.
"I'm afraid he will be disappointed. I don't think Noah will understand me and Logan living together."
"What is there to be disappointed about? Logan is not married. You're both adults. Two people living together is not unusual." Haley obviously didn't see it as a problem, but Violet still thought Noah would.
"Lower your voice. The children are still here. I don't want them to know about Logan and me."
Haley quickly nodded, indicating that she would be more careful in front of the children. "All right, so 3 days after you were discharged from the hospital, the Kingston family is holding a banquet. They said that they have invited you, but I don't know if you should go." Haley told Violet. She shared some of the gossip she had heard, which gave Violet an idea. Whether she would go to the banquet or not, she had yet to decide. But in reality, Violet may not be going anywhere if she was not fully recovered. There were still injuries on her neck and body. Adam and Amy's wounds were still covered with ointment.
She knew that the Kingston family inviting her to the banquet was likely a ploy to get a chance to attack her. They were using public opinion to try to get their way. When Noah got back a few days later, Logan had already started to prepare for Violet's move. Noah, as expected, didn't agree with their plan when he found out. Noah immediately confronted Logan. Had something happened? Had Logan coerced Violet into agreeing to move in with him? She is Kenneth Kingston's granddaughter. I can't watch you ruin her. Noah was so anxious that he was pacing with his hands on his waist. Even his gold-rimmed glasses could not block the anxiety in his eyes. If he had known this would happen, he would have done something. Even if he had offended Logan, he would have taken her away from the Smith group and let her work in his own office. However, his words did not bother Logan at all. It was already too late for Noah to talk Violet out of it. Their agreement had already been signed. Go and ask her yourself if I forced her. Even if she wants to repay a debt of gratitude, she doesn't need to do this. Noah was really anxious. He said, "You don't know how she's been hurt." "I know she's been hurt a lot. I will protect her in the future. I'm not talking about the injuries on her body. I'm talking about her feelings." Putting aside the fact that Violet had been plotted against, and her first time had been taken away by a stranger, even Lionel, her childhood sweetheart, had been stolen by Chloe. If Logan hurt her too, she would never believe in love again. What does this have to do with you? Logan wanted Noah to just stay out of it. I am her family. Noah was annoyed by Logan's attitude. He said, "Don't you get it? Although she is a mother, she is actually still very innocent. You should have noticed this during the time you've known her. Violet may be innocent, but she understands what our agreement means. Stay out of it." Episode 89. She doesn't belong to anyone. You need to call this off, Logan. Nullify this contract. I'll protect her. Noah tried to convince him. Why should I let her go? She's not yours. Logan sneered. She's not yours either. Noah clapped back. She'll be mine soon. Noah was furious. He knew Logan was telling the truth, but he still argued. She does not belong to anyone. Obviously, his words did not receive any response from Logan. He would never consider the problem from someone else's point of view. If he said Violet belonged to him, then Violet must belong to him. Do you like her too? I thought you and Haley were a couple. Logan asked Noah, a searching look in his eyes. Noah himself was a little confused about what he felt. What kind of feelings did he have for Violet? That's none of your business. But since Violet has agreed to this, I want to make something perfectly clear. If you hurt her, I will come and take her out of there. If you make her sad, I'll make sure you never have another chance with her. Ever. That is not for you to decide. Violet is an adult and she makes her own decisions. I advise you to take care of your own relationship with Haley. No woman will wait for you. I will also give you this piece of advice. It's clear that your relationship with Elizabeth is in chaos, so now you are pursuing Violet. You need to settle things with Elizabeth yourself. Don't let Violet take the blame. Noah didn't give in at all. He didn't care who Logan was. He needed to warn him. The two of them parted on bad terms, but Logan was inexplicably still in a good mood.
He took out their agreement and looked at it. Then he placed it back in the depths of his drawer and locked it. The reason why Violet had to convince Noah was that she needed his help getting back her shares of the Kingston group to fulfill her grandfather's last wish and ensure Adam and Amy's safety. Noah knew he was no match for Logan when it came to his abilities to help and protect Violet. But he wished Violet did not have to sacrifice so much. Violet may seem mild-mannered, but Noah knew she was very stubborn. It was useless to argue with her. Even if he did not agree, he couldn't be angry with Violet, so he could only accept her decision. During the period Logan stayed in the hospital, he saw Elizabeth twice. The atmosphere was a bit strained, but not bad. Logan felt guilty, so he hadn't yet told her that he was cutting all ties with her. In her mind, the two of them were still together just as before. Logan thought of that night 4 years ago. He looked at Elizabeth, whose makeup was light, and she seemed thinner, like she'd lost weight. Despite these changes, he still could not recollect what had happened between them. Violet won't be willing to return to the Kingston family. Logan, can you help us persuade her? Elizabeth requested. Today, Elizabeth was wearing a snow-white dress. She looked good. Her chest was on full display. Although her chest was not comparable to Violet's, it still looked good squeezed into her dress. Elizabeth saw Logan eyeing her cleavage and deliberately pulled down the dress to display more. Logan felt a little hot in his chest, which he thought was very strange. Elizabeth had worn clothes like this before. Why did he feel different today? Even Elizabeth's face. He looked at it today, and it also seemed much more charming than before. Something was not right. Logan tried to clear his head. He picked up his lemon water and drank a few mouthfuls of it in an attempt to calm himself. He still felt that something was wrong. He was prepared to end the date early, so he messaged his driver. Logan, it's rare for us to have a date. I want to spend more time with you. We've hardly seen each other. You forget about me. Sometimes Elizabeth would let her imagination run wild. Was something wrong with Logan's sexual abilities? Otherwise, why would he have not slept with a beauty like her after so many years? He barely hugged her. My mother said that maybe you don't like me anymore. She blamed me for not trying to please you. Logan, you know that I'm willing to give everything I have to you. You just have to ask. Elizabeth's eyes were sparkling. She leaned towards Logan. They were in a private room, so no one would disturb them. Even if they acted intimately in the room, no one would know. However, Elizabeth wanted everyone in Los Angeles to know that she was Logan's woman, not Violet. Logan quickly changed the subject. When is the banquet? He pinched his palm. He felt a little dizzy. He sent a message to Corey, asking him to pick Elizabeth up. It's the week after next. Will you go then? Philly had said that the medicine Elizabeth slipped Logan would take effect very quickly. Why did Logan still look so clear-headed? Had she not given him enough? Elizabeth picked up her iced tea and took a sip. She carefully observed Logan's every move through the glass cup. Of course I will go, and I will have good news to announce to everyone. Logan smiled. He felt that it was time to teach the Kingston family a lesson. Elizabeth was ecstatic when she heard that. She examined Logan's expression carefully and knew that he was going to announce the good news. To the Kingston family, the biggest news that they could receive was a marriage between her and Logan. No wonder he had been ignoring her for so long. Logan must have wanted to surprise her. She'd never thought that Logan, who could look so cold, could be so romantic. Her 4 years of waiting had been worth it. Logan must have been testing her, and she'd passed the test. Elizabeth actually knew very little about Logan. She did not understand him at all. If she had known Logan even a little bit better, she would not have thought these things when she saw his smile. Violet would have felt scared if she saw Logan smile like this. Violet knew that kind of smile meant her boss was angry. Elizabeth was happy with the way their evening had gone. Even if the things Philly had taught her today were not working properly on Logan, Elizabeth was still satisfied. They had experimented with the young and handsome boys at the clubhouse, and the results had been very good, but Logan seemed oblivious. Philly was also encouraging her to practice flirting with other men. Elizabeth had been learning how to display the strengths of her figure and how to use her body to make a man instantly fall in love. Although Logan's reaction was different from what Philly anticipated, because of the good news that Logan had announced, Elizabeth didn't care about anything else at the moment. Tonight had been a success. Episode 90. Very happy. If Logan announced their engagement at the Kingston family's banquet, Elizabeth would become the most envied woman in Los Angeles, and she would not show mercy to anyone who had hurt her in the past, especially Violet. No one in Los Angeles would dare to help Violet anymore, and her mother would have many opportunities to teach Violet a lesson. She would no longer have the confidence to be arrogant. She called herself the Kingston heiress and wanted to take away everything that belonged to Elizabeth and Chloe. She could just forget about that now. After the engagement was announced, Violet would be very afraid. She would come crawling back to the Kingston family, begging for mercy. As long as Elizabeth proved to Logan that Violet was a lascivious person, his sympathy and tenderness towards her would definitely disappear. Violet, you just wait and see. You and your children's time is almost up, Elizabeth thought. However, what she and the other Kingston family members did not know was that Logan had already asked his house staff to arrange rooms for Adam, Amy, and, because she had insisted, Violet. Violet felt strongly that it was best to not let the children know about their relationship for the time being, and they definitely could not let the children know about the contract. Logan agreed to her requests readily. He wanted Violet, but he did not want to trample on her dignity. He did not want to hurt her or the children. He was not that big of a jerk. Anyway, he could only be at home in the evenings. During his working hours, Violet would be with him. The rest of the time, she would naturally take care of her children with the help of his staff. When she returned home, Adam and Amy would often already be asleep. They would not notice if Violet slept in her room or with him, and Violet would definitely be sleeping with him. Corey had taken care of all details of the move, and he'd personally arranged for a driver to pick up Violet and the children. Haley followed behind them in her own car. She wanted to memorize how to get to Logan's house so that, in the future, if Violet and the children needed her, she could come and get them. Haley wanted to let Logan know that Violet had her people who cared about her, and that although Violet had agreed to his terms, it did not mean that she didn't have any friends. I really don't know if I should be happy or feel uncomfortable for you, Haley said. After all, Logan had made it clear that it was just a deal. Of course, you should be happy, Violet replied. Now Adam and Amy will be safe. Logan promised me that he would take good care of them, and I believe him. Violet knew if anything happened to the children again, Logan would be beside her. It's good that you think that way. Noah and I don't have the ability to protect you. Haley looked bitter. She thought that Violet was faking, being okay with all of this. This has nothing to do with you guys. You and Noah have already helped me so much. If it weren't for you two, I don't know if the children and I would be here today. Violet was speaking the truth. It's too bad that things weren't different with their father, and you have to do this alone. The children really wish they knew their father. No need to be sad. The children are mine alone. I don't want anyone to try to take them away from me. Violet was firm. Haley helplessly shrugged her shoulders. The children probably would never know who their father was. Haley and Violet were busy unpacking while the staff gave the children a tour of the house. Logan's home was very big, so he had instructed the staff to let the children familiarize themselves with the place. He left instructions that they were to do anything needed to make the children feel comfortable in their new home. The staff took Adam and Amy upstairs to look at the bedrooms, and then to the courtyard to admire all kinds of flowers and trees. The children were very happy. Uncle Logan's place was huge. They could stay here with their mother, and Uncle Logan was also going to be there. He would help them find their father. How could the two of them not be happy? The shadow of the kidnapping was gradually being replaced by curiosity. Their room was on the same floor as Logan's bedroom. The third floor housed a recording studio and the gym, as well as a large study. The balcony was filled with flowers and plants, just like a small flower shop. It was especially beautiful. It was obvious that Uncle Logan was very rich. Adam and Amy liked their new home very much. They asked the staff why Uncle Logan wasn't there. He seldom is here. It is usually late at night when he comes home from work. Zoe and I are responsible for taking care of your daily life. My name is Lee. The plump, middle-aged woman introduced herself with a smile. Zoe was a slightly taller and thinner woman who was about the same age. She was busy in the kitchen making some desserts. Haley was preparing to leave when Violet said, "Why don't you stay here tonight?" Violet was getting a bit anxious, but before Haley could answer Violet, Lee said this wasn't possible. She explained that might make Logan unhappy, and that they could not let Haley stay without Logan's permission. Although she was being a little unreasonable, Lee was saying no for Violet's own good. She did not want Violet to offend Logan the moment she moved in. After all, Logan had never brought a woman home before. Even Elizabeth had only come to eat a few times, and after she finished eating, she was always sent away with the driver. "I'll call him and ask him." Violet was about to go find her phone while the children ran to the courtyard to look at the fruit trees when Haley quickly grabbed Violet's hands. Violet had not understood Lee's subtle warning, but Haley had. Her friend was still very innocent. "You just moved in today and have a lot of things to unpack," Haley said. "Logan might want to spend some time with you when he returns. Besides, I really am too tired to help you today. I have to go home and get some sleep. I have an early meeting tomorrow, and it's a long way from here to my office. I'll come and see you when I have time." "You'll come back and visit?" Violet asked, suddenly feeling uncertain. "When will Noah come and see me?" He's still a little angry at the moment. When his anger has died down, he will come to see you," Haley explained. Violet sighed. Why did Noah have to be so angry? Everyone was an adult. Did no one think she was capable of making a decision on her own? Episode 91. You have yourself a date. Violet had promised Logan that she would move into his house. She had weighed the pros and cons and knew that this was the best choice for the time being. She wished her friends would trust her judgment. Was Noah angry because of Logan or because of Violet? Violet knew Noah considered her family. He probably felt like he had failed her somehow. After Haley got home from helping Violet move, she called Garrett. She told him about Violet's situation and asked if he could help her if needed. If Logan decided to side with the Kingston family in the end, she would not leave Violet alone and helpless. Garrett had always wanted to compete with Logan, and Haley felt that she could make use of that. Sure, when the children come to take the photos, ask Violet to come along. Let me talk to her. Haley heard a sweet girl's voice in the background.
Who are you talking to?
She thought it sounded like Logan's sister, Anna Alexander. Goodbye. We will talk later. Garrett dismissed Haley and hung up the phone. Haley wondered why, since her boss had such a bad relationship with Logan, he let Anna hang around him so much. Anna had come to ask Garrett about Logan and what was going on at the hospital. She could freely enter and exit Garrett's home and office. Although Garrett did not really like her showing up all the time, since she was an Alexander, he didn't stop her. Everyone believed their two families had a good relationship. Garrett knew the time hadn't yet come for the Gardner family and the Alexander family to go to war. Why don't you go and visit him yourself? Garrett asked her without looking up from his laptop.
You know that I'm afraid of Agnes. Is my brother really going to be okay?
Anna held her face and made a concerned expression. She did not dare to go to the hospital personally because she was afraid that Agnes would find out. Agnes would say that she didn't do anything constructive all day and to stop disturbing Logan. She had no choice but to ask Garrett. Agnes didn't like her. If you care about Logan, go and see him yourself. Don't bother me. Ever since Anna had gotten older, she had become very clingy to Garrett. He had always remained indifferent to her, but Anna didn't seem to get the hint. Agnes could not be bothered with her, and Logan basically ignored her, so the two of them had developed this strange relationship over the years. Anna and Garrett were not related by blood, so Garrett sometimes wondered if perhaps Anna hoped to marry into the Gardner family. Although she allowed Anna to live in the family's mansion, Grandmother Agnes did not treat her well, except when Logan was around. Anna's mother had been completely unable to blend into the Alexander family as well. Hence, Anna did not have any support at home. If she wanted to know about Logan, she had to find out through Garrett. Although Anna was an illegitimate daughter, she was still having a good life because of her connections to the Alexander and Gardner families. As long as she stayed out of Agnes's way, she would remain quite popular. Many girls wanted to get Logan through Anna. She had a lot of friends because of her brother. Anna, however, wanted to be friends with Garrett. She had a bit of a crush on him. As long as he was willing to pay attention to her every once in a while, she was happy. The Kingston family is throwing a banquet. Let's go together. I can see my brother and everyone else then, Anna suggested. Garrett kept typing on his laptop and didn't even look up.
Garrett, why are you ignoring me? You haven't seen me in a few days. Didn't you miss me?
Anna giggled as she moved closer to Garrett to see what he was so busy with on his laptop. Garrett quickly closed the laptop. He'd found Elizabeth's contact number and he was messaging with her. She seemed to be in a good mood today. She was full of anticipation for the Kingston's banquet.
Could it be that the Kingston family was going to announce some good news at their banquet? He finally looked at Anna. "Are you done with your work?"
"Yes, I only need to take some videos and photos,"
Garrett stated. Anna needed Adam and Amy to be her models. Haley had planned the whole shoot, and Anna had offered to help her. If Haley wanted to get everything done in time, she needed some help managing things like styling and the like. Some said that Anna did not have any talent and was working there because of who she was, but Anna's talent was actually on par with Haley's. She just didn't show it that often, since she didn't have to work for a living, being an Alexander. In Garrett's eyes, Anna was just another admirer. He knew that Anna liked him, but he didn't like women who pursued him, unless he needed her, that is.
"Do you want to go to the Kingston's banquet with me?"
He raised one eyebrow and smiled at Anna. "Are you willing to go with me?" Anna was flattered.
"Do you not believe me?"
No, I do. You'll belong to me all night." Anna was very happy.
"Then you must listen to me."
Garrett smiled. His eyes slightly narrowed, and he looked very alluring. His handsome face made women melt. "I will do anything you say," Anna immediately answered, happily. Garrett nodded slightly, thinking. He needed to attend the banquet, and Anna could prove useful.
"Okay then, you have yourself a date."
Episode 92. Living Together. After Haley hung up the phone, she went to see what Adam and Amy were up to, out of habit. Then she remembered that they had already moved out. Although her apartment was very small, it had appreciated in value given the current Los Angeles real estate market. Haley loved it, but at the moment it felt a little empty without Violet and the kids. Haley was always busy. Violet had helped her out by doing all the housework. However, as the heiress of a wealthy family, Violet should have been living a comfortable life. She shouldn't be worrying about money. She shouldn't have any worries. Violet had suffered a lot. Haley admired her for making it through these past few years. When she returned to Los Angeles from London, Haley had helped Violet get her job at the Smith Group. Logan was not an easy man to work for. Violet had been scolded almost every day, and every single time she had come home and cried. She often worked well past midnight, trying to please Logan and get all her work done. Fortunately, Noah had been there to bring her home those late nights. And Haley had always encouraged her and helped her take care of the children. If it hadn't been for them, Violet's life would have been even more difficult. She understood Noah's anger at the situation with Logan. It was very normal that he could not let Violet go. After all, this was a woman that he had always taken care of. Now, in order to best protect her, he had to let someone else take care of her, and he hated what it was costing Violet. Haley's phone rang. She saw it was Noah calling and quickly answered. "Hey, what's up? Why are you still up? It's late. Have you left work yet?" Ever since he'd returned to Los Angeles, Noah had been so busy. The two of them didn't even have time to eat together anymore. Haley was very concerned about Noah's health. "You have got to get some rest. You'll put yourself in an early grave if you keep up this pace." Although Noah was his own boss, he had had trouble prioritizing his health over his work. "I know, I'm not a child," he remarked.
When he could rest, he would. Right now, though, he had to sort out Violet's problems and start preparing for a legal battle with the Kingstons. It's like this, Haley. I think that the Kingston family is up to something. This banquet is not going to be a simple dinner. You should try your best to attend. If anything happens, you should be careful and call me. I don't have an invitation, so I can't go. Haley explained. The guest list was selective, and only the elite of Los Angeles was invited. Of course, the Kingstons made sure to include room for the press. Then I'll ask Logan, Noah said helplessly. He hadn't forgiven Logan yet. Don't bother him. If you do, he can make your life even harder at work. Noah scoffed. He was angry at Logan for the Violet situation, but Logan wasn't all bad. It was normal for the two of them to argue. Logan would not really make things difficult for him at work. Are you not going? Haley asked. I'm not sure yet. It depends on what happens tomorrow. I have a very important client I need to meet with. Noah replied. This client was an old friend of Kenneth Kingston. Noah hoped that he would help in the fight to take back Violet's shares. Noah had asked him to meet several times, and he finally could tomorrow, so Noah couldn't miss this opportunity. Haley wanted to help Noah, so she told him she would definitely go. Then you don't want me to ask Logan? Noah asked. Don't worry, I will think of a way. Haley smiled playfully against the phone. Noah also smiled. I know you're good. If you need me, just contact me. I can always call Logan. Noah then asked her if she was used to being home alone now that Violet and the children had moved out. Did she feel a little uncomfortable? If I had known earlier, I would have let you move in with me. Anyway, my place is close to yours. Haley was a little curious about what Noah's reaction would be to her comment. Noah was silent for a moment and then laughed in a low voice. You are not afraid of living alone, are you? I am. Okay, you got me. Can you move in with me? Noah neither refused nor accepted her proposal. Haley was relieved and quickly tried to change the subject. The fact that he hadn't rejected her outright meant that she still had a chance. Haley would have to do her best. But then Noah asked, Don't you think we're too close to live together? Don't you know that couples usually break up after they move in together? Noah felt awkward. I can't deal with you right now. I'm hanging up. I'm going to take a shower and go to bed. Haley quickly said. Good night. Noah hung up the phone. Haley threw her phone aside and buried her head on the sofa. She covered her face and cried. This was too embarrassing. She had actually suggested moving in together. Did Noah think that she was moving too quickly? She was too impulsive. She didn't know if she had scared Noah away. This was the first time she'd broached the subject with him. What was wrong with her? Why had she asked such an impulsive question? Haley quickly shook her head. It was useless for her to regret having said it now. She just hoped that things with Noah wouldn't be awkward going forward. Logan and Corey had gone out to dinner with an old client. By the time Logan got home, it was almost midnight. Violet had taken care of the children and gone to bed, but she didn't dare to go to sleep until Logan returned. She quietly left her room and went out into the hall to pace. She hadn't gone to work today. Logan had asked her to rest and settle in after the move. He told her to go into the office tomorrow. Henry had picked Logan up. Now that they were home, Logan told him to go to bed. Lee had gone to sleep already. Zoe was still on duty. When she heard the sound of them returning, she quickly came out of her room. "Mr. Alexander, do you need anything? Would you like some water or something to eat?" Zoe took Logan's suit jacket from him as he fussed. "I only drank a little bit of wine. It's okay. I'm going upstairs. You guys can go to bed." Logan waved his hand. His staff did not disturb him anymore and went to their rooms. Violet was just about to go back into her room when she heard footsteps downstairs. She stood on the second-floor landing and looked down. Logan raised his head and looked up at the same time. When she saw him, Violet quickly pulled her head back like a frightened rabbit. Logan was amused and thought that she was very cute. He wanted to tease her, so he deliberately walked upstairs with a straight face. Violet was a little scared. She could not tell whether she was really afraid of Logan or was just feeling very shy. After all, her relationship with him was different now, and she didn't know how to talk to him now that he was more than just her boss. Wait, what should she call him? Sir just didn't seem to fit their new dynamic. She stood uneasily in the shadows of the hall, waiting for Logan. Her hands stirred restlessly. Violet had no clue how to handle this situation. She had no idea what to say to him or how to please a man. "You're up late. Why aren't you asleep? Were you waiting for me?" Logan watched her. Why did his voice sound deeper and rougher than normal? Perhaps it was because he drank some wine, but his gaze also did not look as cold as usual. There seemed to be a hint of heat in the depths of his eyes. Episode 93. Straight Face. Logan was pleased Violet was still up, but he kept a straight face. He could not let Violet see how he felt about her. Did he like Violet a little, or did he only desire her physically? Logan wore his usual cold expression, so Violet didn't sense any of his thoughts. She didn't know that he felt satisfied. After all, what man would dislike the feeling of being waited for, especially if it was by the woman he wanted? Logan stood in front of Violet, and he could barely resist the urge to pull her towards him. Not yet, Logan told himself. He had to be patient. There were still some matters to be settled between them. Logan still had to let Violet know what he expected of her, what it meant to be his woman. "Come with me." Logan brushed past Violet. She smelled a little alcohol on him. It was not irritating, but it was a little intoxicating, as if she was the one drinking, not Logan. Violet forced a smile at Logan. She saw him turn and walk towards his study, so she quickly followed. Violet felt her heart rate kick up. She was very nervous. It was the middle of the night. Why wasn't he going to sleep? What did he need in his study? Logan was being deliberately vague, making her more and more nervous. He really knew how to torture her. Corey was right. Logan's hobby was tormenting people. Violet followed Logan into the study. He took out a small booklet and threw it on the desk. Then he lifted his chin towards Violet, indicating she should take it. "What is this?" Violet was tired. She had to wake up early tomorrow to get the children ready for school. If Logan had something to say, why didn't he just spit it out? What was he up to? Violet wanted to yawn, but she didn't dare. Not with the way Logan was currently looking at her. Under Logan's watchful gaze, she reached out and picked up the small booklet from the desk. She opened it and saw that it was similar to the Bible that Corey had given her when she first started working at the Smith Group. Only instead of it being a book about how to be a good secretary, this book was about how to be a good lover. For example, when Logan needed her, she should be by his side 24 hours a day and never leave. When he did not need her, Violet should disappear immediately and not annoy him. Violet was not allowed to hit on other men, and even more so, she was not allowed to cheat with other men. If she betrayed him, the punishment would be decided by Logan. Violet had no right to say anything. She had to understand Logan's mood at all times. When he was unhappy, she had to make him happy. When he was happy, she could not allow anything disappointing to affect his mood. Violet had to understand his hobbies, pay attention to his needs, be gentle and considerate, and so on. In short, the meaning of the booklet was that Violet's reason for existence was to make Logan happy. This had to be a joke, right? Was Violet now his lover, or was she now his slave? Seeing the stunned look on Violet's face, Logan said, "What? You're unwilling?" Logan frowned, looking unhappy. He looked down at Violet and pointed his chin at her. It seemed that if Violet said no, he would be highly displeased. "I'm not saying no exactly, but surely you can make some concessions." This was too strict. Violet felt that no matter how perfect a person was, they would not be able to meet such rigid requirements. "Are you trying to negotiate with me?" An astonished Logan asked. Who did Violet think she was? Did she not realize that Logan had taken a liking to her, and that allowing her to become his woman was already the greatest gift he could offer her? Violet really did not know how to appreciate favors. "I have been indulging you too much lately. Am I right?" Logan said. Violet secretly rolled her eyes. Logan strictly supervised Violet every day, all day, causing Violet to remain in a constant state of unease. Was that Logan indulging her? Violet was not spoiled. She left that to the Elizabeths of the world. "All right, every time you make a mistake, I will give you a chance to correct it. Is that better?" Logan spoke in an exasperated tone, as if he was making a huge concession. "What about male friends? For example, Noah. Can't I talk to him?" "All right, Noah can be the exception. All other men are out. Agreed?" Especially when it came to Garrett and Lionel. Without a doubt, if Logan ever saw Violet flirting with either of those two men again, he would not be lenient. Violet bit her lower lip and mustered up the courage to say something else, to fight for some more of her basic human rights. But Logan was not in the mood to listen. "You are not allowed to push your luck, or I will not even allow you to come in contact with Noah." "I understand." Violet sighed. She had no choice but to listen to Logan. She'd try again when he was in a better mood. "I'm tired. I want to take a bath. Go and get it ready for me," Logan ordered. Seeing Violet standing there, blankly looking at him, Logan held back his laughter. He knew that she was flustered and more than a little nervous, but he had to establish his rules up front. Logan's face did not show his amusement, though. He remained cold and impassive. He reached up and massaged the back of his tired neck and walked towards the bedroom. "Don't just stand there. Follow me." Violet snapped out of the daze she'd been in since opening the booklet and quickly followed him. When they reached the door of his room, she stumbled and almost fell over. Logan could not hold his exasperation in anymore. "What is wrong with you? Are you that incompetent?" Logan was starting to get annoyed now. What was she playing at? First, she had tried to negotiate with him. Now she was tripping over her own feet. "There's nothing wrong with me, and I'm quite competent, thank you very much. During your last negotiation with Hanover Mall, the analysis I did of my notes turned out to be crucial to closing your deal." At the time, Corey had been thrilled by her work. Logan, however, did not look so thrilled. "Are you saying I made a mistake you needed to correct?" Logan narrowed his eyes and gritted his teeth. He did not mind firing a secretary. Until Violet, no secretary had even made it past 6 months with him. No, you're right. I was wrong. I shouldn't even be standing here right now. I should be in the bedroom. I mean bathroom, running you a bath. I'll go now." Violet sucked in a breath as if preparing herself for battle and immediately rushed into the room. Logan helplessly rubbed his forehead. Was Violet playing dumb, or was she really this inexperienced? Was she just nervous and shy? She had 2 children. She had to have been with a man before. Why was she blushing like a schoolgirl? Was Violet a great actress, or was she really this innocent? Episode 94, Bewitched. Violet had no time to care about what Logan was thinking. If she didn't go run him a bath, he might call off their deal. She might even lose her job. She rushed to the bathroom and looked around. She found that it was surprisingly big. Although the Kingston family was rich, they were a lot less wealthy than Logan. This was the first time she had entered the bathroom, and she was amazed by the way the interior was decorated. The bathroom was as big as a normal-sized bedroom. The large glass mirror had been polished until it was bright and shiny. Violet saw her reflection in the mirror as soon as she came in. Her face was flushed red, as if she had been blushing, but Logan hadn't said anything or done anything to cause her to blush. She was just overthinking everything. "Violet, get it together," she admonished herself internally. "You are just going to sleep with him because of some pathetic contract. Nothing more. Don't develop feelings for him. If you fall in love with him, you will get your heart broken again, and you'll be devastated when he eventually moves on." She warned herself in the mirror to not fall head over heels for a man again. She had learned her lesson the hard way. She took a deep breath and reminded herself to treat this situation like a job at all times. The problem was that the nature of the job was a little too stimulating. She approached the wide circular bathtub and turned on the faucet to adjust the water temperature. She set the towel and the bath mat in the right places so he could easily grab them when he was finished. Then she looked around, trying to figure out what else to do. Had she done enough? Logan wouldn't want her to bathe with him as well, would he? It was possible. After all, he was rich. He was probably used to a certain kind of treatment. But if she bathed him, she would see him naked. Violet's face turned bright red just from imagining what the scene would look like. When Logan came in, he saw her biting her finger in a daze. She looked like a nervous little squirrel nibbling on a nut. When he approached, she jumped in shock, flailing and instinctively covering her chest. "What is wrong with you?" Logan asked harshly. Violet was mortified. She blamed herself for not being able to live up to his expectations. She was so embarrassed that she almost cried. Logan grew even more irritated as the seconds passed in complete silence. Why had she reacted like that? Who did she think he was? Or better yet, what did she think he was going to do? Yes, Violet had a nice figure and was an attractive woman, but he was not a pervert. So why did she keep thinking about these things? He really just wanted to take a bath. He raised his eyebrows and said, "Why are you still standing here? Get out." Violet opened her mouth and looked at him blankly. "What's going on with you? Has the cat got your tongue?" He chided. Was she okay? Why did she look so dazed? She looked completely dumbstruck. Violet snapped herself out of her trance and asked, What? I asked why you're still standing here. Logan looked frustrated. Anyone would have thought she was drunk. You don't need me to help you take a bath? Violet asked stutteringly. After all, it was written in the booklet that, when Logan needed her, she had to stay by his side at all times. She also had to make him happy. Violet did not dare to leave without being dismissed first. What did you say? Logan's face turned red. Was she teasing him now? His self-control had been hanging on by a thread, and now it snapped. Before Violet could react, Logan picked her up and threw her into the bathtub in one quick motion. The bathtub was very big, and it could easily accommodate 4 men as tall as Logan. It had taken her quite a long time to fill it up with water just now. She might have even put too much water in it, actually, with the way it was sloshing over the sides now. In her defense, she thought that Logan would be the one taking a bath by himself, while she waited by his side. When she'd agreed to this whole thing, she had imagined herself sort of like an ancient maid serving her young master in daily life tasks. What she hadn't expected was that she would be the one choking and coughing in the water now. She felt very disgruntled. However, the water seemed to have snapped her out of her trance. Only now did she realize that she seemed to have been bewitched by Logan. He was just too handsome. She had clearly warned herself to keep a distance from this man for good reason. However, when he had stood in front of her and spoken to her in that low and seductive voice, she had immediately lost her head. She couldn't help herself. He was too compelling. Violet, stop thinking about him, she told herself. In order to cover up her loss of self-control, Violet coughed violently. Logan could not bear to see her in such a pathetic state, so he reached out his hand and gently patted her back. Violet tried her best to get out of the bathtub in a dignified manner. She had suffered enough humiliation for one day. She just wanted to escape as quickly as possible. But Logan did not want her to leave. He followed her into the bathtub without even taking off his clothes. Then he pulled Violet into his arms. Are you in a rush to leave? He asked her in a soft voice. Violet was confused. First, he told her to get out, and now he wanted her to stay? What was she supposed to do? Before she could decide whether to stay or go, Logan started running his fingers along her thigh in a slow motion. This made Violet's face turn even redder. Even her neck and collarbone turned red. She thought she must look like a drowned rat, but Logan thought she looked extremely beautiful. No man could resist seeing her like this. Logan was no different. When Logan kissed her, Violet tightly grabbed his collar. Logan could feel the buttons from his shirt pressing down on his throat. He frowned and undid a few of them, revealing a patch of tan skin. Violet became even more nervous then. Violet stared at his chest and swallowed. Logan's skin was tan, and she could see the cords of muscle in his neck. Even the shape of his Adam's apple captivated her. Being stared at so blatantly by her excited Logan even more, so he tightened his grip on Violet's waist and pulled her towards him, placing her in between his legs. The temperature of the water must have increased because it was getting quite hot, Violet thought. Violet's breathing quickened and her heart raced. She was embarrassed and afraid, so she simply closed her eyes and let go. Logan laughed softly and deepened the kiss. So this was how a woman tasted. Her taste was as refreshing as the spring breeze. Her lips were soft and sweet. Violet slowly relaxed and grew more comfortable. She hesitated, then gripped Logan's collar with one hand, while she caressed his chest with the other. She could tell Logan liked this, because he pressed her even tighter into his arms. They kissed for a long time. To Violet, Logan was still her boss, but she got used to his kiss very quickly. It almost felt as if they had kissed before. Although maneuvering inside the bathtub felt a little uncomfortable, Logan's kisses felt really good. Violet lost herself in his embrace. Episode 95. Little Girl. Violet wasn't a little girl anymore. Although she was still inexperienced when it came to intimate relationships, since she had agreed to their arrangement, she decided she would embrace the experience. Logan would probably be considered by most an outstanding lover. He certainly had the looks and the strength to excel at it, even though they weren't technically lovers. Violet thought that she might as well enjoy it. Logan probably felt the same way about her. After their kiss ended, both of them had difficulty breathing. Logan pressed his forehead against hers, his eyes full of raw desire, as if he was looking into the depths of Violet's soul. She trembled, wanting to let go of Logan, but he held her in his arms and gently kissed her on the top of her head. "Since we are already wet, let's take a bath together," Logan suggested. It was obviously going to be a sleepless night for the two of them. Ever since Logan and Elizabeth had gotten into a relationship, he had never dated any other woman. That night, 4 years ago, he'd felt desire and passion. He had never felt any attraction to Elizabeth, so he had stopped having sex. A man who could not control his sexual desires was not a proper man. Logan had always believed this. However, it was obvious that tonight, he himself might be the one not able to control himself. He could not stop. He did not want to stop. No matter how much his brain told him to back off, that he was being too rough, he knew he couldn't. The surging desire flooded him like a tidal wave, controlling him. He could not hold himself back. Logan had been abstinent for too many years and was finally giving in to his desires. He was overwhelmed and out of control. Logan did not expect to find out that he was no different from the men he had looked down on. Could it be that the reason why he had thought that way in the past was because he hadn't yet met the woman who could make him lose control? After 4 years, Violet once again was experiencing the fierceness of a man's passion. She cried out until her throat was completely hoarse, but she didn't regret it one bit. This time, she had made her own choice. She couldn't help but think of that fateful night, the night she wanted to erase from her life. Her whole body had been bruised, and her legs had felt weak. She could barely walk. When she'd escaped from the hotel, she'd almost fallen down the road. She was so weak. All she wanted was to reach home, her safe haven. What had welcomed her next was the news of her grandfather's death and Lionel's betrayal. She'd been so miserable that at her lowest, she'd even felt that she would rather die than be alive. Those memories were terrible. That moment 4 years ago, she'd realized that men could hurt her. As long as she had a relationship with any of them, she would be unhappy. Lionel had betrayed her. Adam and Amy's father had raped her. And now there was Logan, who she feared could break her heart. Logan was drenched in sweat and had a stormy look in his eyes as he held her in his arms and refused to let go. The night was getting darker and darker, and his desire was getting stronger. After a night of passion, when Violet opened her eyes the next day, it was already noon. It was so late. Had Adam and Amy already left for school? She was their mother, and she had completely forgotten them. She panicked and quickly jumped out of bed. Suddenly, she felt sore all over her body. She looked down and found that she was naked. Her skin was covered with red marks, and she had bruises forming on her hips. Wait, was that a bite mark? Did Logan like to bite people? Was this normal? When she was washing up in the bathroom, she saw clearly in the mirror that she had hickeys on her neck, collarbone, and chest as well. Logan is a beast! She was so embarrassed. What was she going to do? It was not cold enough to wear a turtleneck yet, so how was she going to cover the marks? If anyone saw them, they would gossip and whisper behind her back even more. She still wanted to work at the Smith Group. She was most worried about Logan's grandmother's reaction if she found out about their arrangement. Violet was also worried about what her coworkers would say if they found out she was sleeping with the boss. Unlike Violet, Logan had woken up early in the morning, feeling refreshed. He'd gone to the gym on the 3rd floor and taken a shower. He felt energized, as if he hadn't been the one who had sex with Violet all night long. He'd instructed the servants not to disturb her. Adam and Amy got up and put on their clothes. Lee wanted to help the two of them, but was rejected. She could not help but sigh at the sight of the two of them. So good-looking and so sensible. If Miss Kingston served Logan well, she might even be able to give them a better future. After all, even though Logan looked indifferent on the surface, he valued loyalty above all else. Otherwise, his grandmother wouldn't have let them work for him for so many years. The Alexanders wanted people around them they could trust. While they were eating breakfast, Adam and Amy asked Logan where Violet was. He told them that she was very tired from moving day and that she'd worked very late, so she was still sleeping. He also said that he would wake her up before he went to work so that the two of them didn't have to worry about it.
Will you be late? Mommy said that going to work is the same as going to school. You must not be late, or you could be punished.
It's okay. I've decided not to punish her today. Not only will I not punish her, but I will also bring you all delicious food when I come back. Logan replied,
When we return home from school, will we be able to see you?
Adam asked. The two children would arrive home at around 4 o'clock. Logan would not have gotten off work by that time.
Yes, will you be here, Uncle Logan, when we get home?
Amy asked with wide eyes. I have a meeting in the afternoon. I can't come home after school, but I can come home for dinner tonight. How about that? 4 o'clock was the busiest time. He didn't want to disappoint the children, so he carefully changed the plan.
That's great. My mommy can also come back with you, right?
Amy held Adam's hand and cheered. She was very happy. Adam also smiled shyly. He was happy. However, he was more reserved than Amy. At such a young age, he still did not show his emotions much. Logan became even more curious about who their father was.